2021 is coming to its end. We almost there. See, on where I'm at right now, it is 8:51. I'm just gonna round that up to 9 o'clock. We 3 hours away. 3 full hours away. And then it is a new year. Now, I was trying to decide, am I gonna start recording before or after the new year? It really didn't fucking matter, to be completely honest with you, in the grand scheme of things. But nevertheless, happy fucking new year. Happy new year. Because I damn sure know I ain't gonna be recording this till the new year hit. Not that many people listen, I'm a strong believer in you need to act as if 1,000 people watching, even when nobody watching. Straight up. However, I'm not gonna be on this motherfucker for no 4 hours. Come on, man. We got aspirations of possibly having a show one day that's probably that long, but come on, man. Not even 4 hours. That's just outrageous. 2 hours. Maybe if we with some folks in this really good conversation, if we got some sponsors and shit like that. That's neither here nor there, man. I hope y'all motherfuckers had a hell of a year. I'm telling you. It's been some trying times for a lot of people out there. I hope we leave that shit in this year. I ain't no person who really be like, oh, New Year resolutions and shit like that. I'm not really into New Year's resolutions. Never been into New Year's resolutions. If you one of those people who does that, hey, cool. I ain't shitting on it. I just ain't never been one of them people who really did that. So, you know what I'm saying? Like my boy LaMelo said, New Year, new me. Same me, though. I saw some people who was under that tweet wilding out like some real nerds, man. Like, what does this even mean? This makes no sense. Some people, bro. Some people. Absolutely wild. You know what we haven't done in like 2 weeks? Because of the holiday season, man. The holiday seasons. We haven't been predicting the games. Now, you know, I'm not predicting the score. That's just absolutely crazy. Maybe that happens one day. Maybe. But predicting the score, bro? What? It's nuts, man. It's nuts. You got to do a lot of data and shit like that to be predicting score. Like, and just to be shitting out scores. Like, I could just shit out scores like all four. Nah, I'm not doing that. But we're going to be predicting the games, man. We're going to be calling the games, breaking them down. Now, listen. This video probably going to come up. This part probably going to drop around the same time as the one before. Because I'm dropping these bitches like 4 podcasts probably getting dropped this week. It's a great week as far as me. I have been absolutely lazy. I'm going to be unbelievably honest with you. I've been lazy this week. Thank God it was no Thursday night football games, because then I had to try to figure out the way to get 2 more videos in there, which would have been 5. Either way, that's irrelevant. That's irrelevant. How the fuck is y'all day, man? I know a lot of people partying. I know a lot of people wilding. And maybe one day when I'm in a relationship and shit like that, I'll be, I don't know. I really ain't, the small gatherings is straight, but I ain't really go to the club and shit like that on New Year's. I know some people do. I done things on New Year's, but I ain't never really been. I never gone to a club on New Year's, bro. That's not my vibe. It's not my scene. You dig? But if that's for you, then that's for you. You know what I'm saying? That's just not my cup of tea. I don't like tea anyways, now that I'm thinking about it. So, well, nope. Let me take that back. Sweet tea is a vibe. But I heard sweet tea is unhealthy for you as fucking sodas and shit. So, really nothing is healthy for you in the grand scheme of things. Like, if you really want to be healthy, then that truly means that you have to lie about enjoying food that does not taste good. You know what I'm saying? And the payoff is your body and, I guess, living longer. I don't know if it's proven that people who eat healthier live longer. But, you know, I got a certain type of respect for people who, you know, enjoy a life of eating whatever the fuck they want, because they know when they die, that's over with. So, I respect those people also. I'm not talking about gluttony and shit like that. And listen, I know there's going to be some people like, well, that's why people have obese and heart problems. And That's the payoff sometimes. I get it. Some people, hey, I don't condone smoking cigarettes, but some people like smoking cigarettes, and the payoff, cancer. We all got payoffs. You eat healthy, the payoff, you don't enjoy food. So, it is what it is. But I hope everybody had an unbelievable year, man. And I hope next year is even better, bro. I really do. Because let's think about what's happening this year. I don't even remember when the fucking pandemic started, but I think it was like all of this year and some of towards the end of 2020, I believe. But 2021 has been full live pandemic, and it's even a ramp back up with the Omicron over the last couple weeks. So, or Omnicron, however the fuck you pronounce it, Omni. OG Omni said, "I'm back and better than ever." And that's been that's been a big part of 2021. Probably a year we'll never forget. I'm pretty sure I'll never forget it. But with all the bad shit that's done happened in this year, because there's been a lot of bad shit, I'm not gonna re-talk about all of the bad shit, because why do that? Why spend this last episode of 2021 going all over all the stupid bad shit that depressed us and made us feel down and shit like that? We could talk about that any other day of the week. We could talk about it. Matter of fact, people have talked about it, and maybe I haven't been listened to because people don't listen to the podcast, shit like that, but we gonna get big one day, so we ain't tripping on that. But everybody done talked about it, all the issues and things like that we done went through. So I'm not gonna waste my time, because that's what it is at this point, especially on this episode. I'm not, because we don't want to go out of 2021 sad like we spent 2021. You know what I'm saying? Like, we know all the issues and whatnot. We know all of them. The deaths, the shortcomings. We know every single bad thing that happened in 2021. We gonna forget about that for this episode. We ain't gonna trip on that. We ain't even gonna think about that. We just gonna celebrate the good shit that happened in 2021. Now, what's very funny is, as I say that, I realized to myself, why didn't you do research to, just to have, so you could write down in your notes and have something to look at to go over and hit all the great points that happened, of the good shit that happened in 2021? And I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't know. See, I do the podcast. See, and this is gonna sound bad, because, if I want to get big and I want to go blow up and I want to be able to do this for a living, then you're gonna have to be more organized. And I don't really think it's not that I'm organized as much as I don't script the show. You know what I'm saying? I don't script the podcast. Like, I don't write down bulletin board shit like, oh, I gotta say that, I gotta mention that, I gotta go over that, I gotta talk about that. You know what I'm saying? All I do is write down the games on all the teams that's playing. I write down and I take notes about what I see in the games, and then I roll from that. The show go as it go. Like, all the other stories and the things that I talk about and all that type of shit, that's all going based off of the games and shit that happened in the game, and I'm going off of shit like based off of that, or like that's how my mind works. Like, it can go all different type of places just off of that, because that's the main shit. That's the meat of the podcast. All the other shit, the lettuce, the tomatoes, the pickles, the onions, the bun, all that type of shit, that's the other shit that I can just go, I can think about that shit on the fly. That's the filler. You know what I'm saying? To make sure the show ain't just strictly a boring. The Browns played the Steelers today. The score was this and that. Next game. The Ravens played the Raiders today. The score was this score. Next game. You see what I'm saying? So that's what the other shit for, is to make sure it don't become a podcast where I'm just reciting fucking stats and the score. You know what I'm saying? You can go anywhere to see that type shit, or to be like every other show where I'm talking about it exactly. You know what I'm saying? And listen, I get some people don't even like hearing people curse. Well, it's not for you. Some people don't like. Some people love it. Some people think it's. I know people who think it's absolutely hilarious when people curse. I could possibly be one of them. I'm not sure. You're gonna have to curse in front of me for me to find out. But I if I forget anything big that happened in 2021, you gotta forgive me. You gotta forgive me because I didn't do my homework. However, one of the first things that happened in 2021 that's big, and we can even start off with talking about Atlanta's game on Sunday because they're going to be playing Buffalo there, where they're going to lose to Buffalo. Atlanta Braves. They won a championship this year. They won the World Series. I don't know how long it had been since they won a World Series. I'm not going to be one of them. I'm not going to get on here and act like I knew how long it's been. It's been a long fucking time, though. I know that. It's been a long fucking time. And the Atlanta Braves won a World Series. The Atlanta Braves proved, and I know this ain't a baseball show, so some people might not even knew that the Atlanta Braves was a baseball team. As wild as that is to me, it could possibly be some people who listen to this in the past and the future that think to themselves, who the fuck is the Atlanta Braves? And if you can hear that right there, that was gunshots. But the Atlanta Braves are a baseball team. They won the World Series this year, and that was big. And I think the biggest reason they won the World Series because the Braves lost their best player around the All-Star break in Ronald Acuna Jr. But then they got their big dog stepped up in Frederick Freeman, the big dog. Ozzie Albies, another big dog. And then they made some phenomenal trades at the deadline. Jock Peterson, fucking Jorge Soler, who had an absolute pimp job in the World Series. What's my man's name? Eddie Rosario. All dudes who played big roles in helping them win a World Series. Another big thing that happened in 2021, now that I'm thinking about it, my boy Bryce Harper, my favorite baseball player. I started watching baseball again this year after taking like a 4 or 5 year break from watching baseball. I started watching it again, and Bryce Harper was my favorite player back when I had started watching. And he's still my favorite player now, and he won MVP now. And he plays for my favorite. Now, when he won MVP before, he was playing with Washington, the Nationals. Now he playing for my actual favorite baseball team, the Phillies, and he won it for us. So that was big time. A big reason I started watching baseball again this year was because MLB The Show 21, a baseball game, was on Xbox. I play Xbox. I haven't been able to watch baseball, and they don't have a baseball game, so I don't own a PS system, so it was no, you know what I'm saying? If I'm not playing it on the game system and I'm not watching it, you know what I'm saying, it's very hard to keep track of it. But when you play it, you want to watch it. When you watch it, you want to play it. So the correlation, if that makes sense to anybody. So that was big. But him winning MVP, and then my boy Zach Wheeler, my ace Zach Wheeler, made me realize how little the Phillies did to try to win a World Series this year. After, I guess they just did not read their situation properly. I don't know, man. But the Braves going all in made me realize how bad some teams want to win and how bad some teams think they want to win. Because the Braves proved that they really wanted to fucking win. And they did. So congratulations to them. But starting off with Atlanta and Buffalo, somehow Atlanta still have a chance to make the playoffs, as does the Panthers. It's wild. But Atlanta's not beating Buffalo. Josh Allen balled the fuck out against New England last week. That was a big dog statement. And this is what I was saying when I say, see, when you come to this podcast, I want you to be able to chill, take a break, relax, be like, yo, I'm finna kick it with my man Saint. But I want you to be educated. You know what I'm saying? I want to help educate you as much as I possibly can. And I don't want to give you bad information or no shit like that. That's why I will always do my homework to make sure. And if I get something wrong, I'll come back on here and tell you I was wrong about such and such. But check me out. I've been saying all year, I got no problem with Mac Jones. I got no problem with Mac Jones. R.I.P. my man Bernie Mac. R.I.P. GOAT. But I got no problem with before we talk about that, another Saint salute. of 2021, fucking, and I don't even know if I told you that they was going to be called the Saint Salutes for all the awards. So all the previous people who I done gave love to, Bryce Harper, the Atlanta Braves, those are Saint Salutes, my guys. Saint Salutes. Next Saint Salute, Steve fucking Harvey. My mom love Family Feud. I love Family Feud. That's her daily routine. She come home from work. She retired now, but she still work for my aunt at my aunt's daycare now though, cause she gotta stay busy somehow. But she an absolutely lovely lady. She come home every day and watch Family Feud, and that motherfucker Steve done kept a smile on my mom's face at least 1 minute out of every fucking day of the week. And I appreciate him for that. So, a Saint salute to Family Feud and Steve fucking Harvey, man. I told her one day we're going to be on that fucking show. I keep telling her that. One day we're going to be on that show. Now, this is what I'm scared of. If I'm on the show one day, because I'm great at the show. I'm just telling you right now. I be knowing the number one answers. I be knowing all the answers really on the board. There's very few times where I'm stumped by certain questions and shit. But I just got this feeling. I'm going to get on the show one day, and one of two things is going to happen. Either I'm going to have a complete meltdown that day and let the pressure get to me and fold, or they're going to ask me a bunch of fucking questions that I have absolutely no fucking clue of. Like a movie from back in the days from an actor or some shit like that I've never heard of. And then it's over for me. I'm going to have to rely on my people's knowledge. And I know my people not going to know because they not big movie bluffs. So I'm like, yeah, it's pretty much a dub for us. My only two fears. But other than that, we get on the show, we going to kill it. But Atlanta, Buffalo. Oh. I got back to the game, but I want to have a teaching moment. I've been saying all year. Got no problem with Mac Jones. I like Mac Jones. He's from Alabama. Alabama just beat Cincinnati to get to yet another national championship game. We can speak later about how the national football playoffs is not a true legitimate playoff, but that's for a conversation for another day. And time that I would have to be invested in talking and wasting on college football. But when I talked about Mac Jones, I said Mac Jones, much like other quarterbacks like Mac Jones, they're not really bad quarterbacks, but they have clear limitations. You know that they is being hidden on offense. You know they calling plays around that quarterback. Like if you look at the Patriots, it's very clear Mac Jones is not the reason they win in games. If you just being honest. You know what I'm saying? Like, you could possibly watch that team and lie to yourself and say, oh yeah, Mac Jones definitely the reason we win in games. And that's cool, I guess. But if you really watching the Patriots, then you know that the defense, the run game, special teams, coaching, there's a lot of things that you could say is winning them games before you get to Mac Jones. And now you done seen over the last couple weeks, when you play against a team eventually where you know the quarterback, because when you have a great quarterback, a franchise quarterback who can win you games when everything else is going wrong, when nothing else is going right, when everybody else is playing subpar, when everybody else don't got it, that one quarterback that can win you a game. And I'm not talking about a Super Bowl, because only one quarterback can win a Super Bowl a year. So you can't make a judgment off of all these games you play in the season. I can't make my final judgment based off of fucking Super Bowl. That's crazy. The Super Bowl is just that certified leverage in most cases. And you say in most cases because we know every great quarterback, every team that win a Super Bowl didn't have a great quarterback. Let's just put it like that. Like the Seahawks' first Super Bowl, the only Super Bowl they won with Russell Wilson. As much as I love Russ, he wasn't big time Russ he is now. He wasn't big Russ now. Back then, it was the defense back then. But when you look at a team with that type of quarterback that can make plays when they need to make plays, I'm going to always take that quarterback over a quarterback that's more of a system guy, that more so that need everything to go right. That's why I said about the Browns in the beginning of the season. I said the biggest reason I don't think the Browns are going to make the playoffs is because I saw their schedule And I said to myself, they play against too many teams that have quarterbacks that are either better than Baker Mayfield or just flat out franchise quarterbacks that can win a game. And I like Cleveland Browns defense. I even like Cleveland Browns offense and the play calling and shit like that with Odell. I think it's harder to call a great game plan now that you don't have Odell, because the type of pressure that Odell take off of other people and the eyes that he gonna have on him as opposed to Donovan Peoples-Jones and them other dudes, yeah, that's done now that he's there, no longer there. So all the people who bitched about Odell being there and not doing this, not doing that, well, now you see what life is without Odell Beckham Jr. If Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb don't go stupid, then the offense probably won't do shit. And that's a problem. Odell Beckham was more valuable to this team as a decoy than he is than not being on the team at all. So you just think about that for a second. But I said, when you have a quarterback like a Baker Mayfield, a Jared Goff, what's my man's name? At this point in time, I gotta say a Derek Carr. Like those type of quarterbacks who don't really necessarily rise above the rise to the occasion all the time. It's because some of these dudes have fourth quarter comebacks and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Like Matthew Stafford got like a shit ton of fourth quarter comebacks. Like, so you could use that stat. Like stats work both ways. That's why I really have problems watching stat-based shows and shit like that. And I try not to make any of these podcast episodes heavily stat-based, because stats work for both fucking teams. Like, you could legitimately, the worst team in the NFL, you can find a bunch of fucking stats to make them look good. So, stats is a weird thing, bro. But when I'm looking at trying to remember where we, and just like that, you start talking about stats, you get lost in the numbers, you forget where the fuck you was at, and it's gone. Poof. The whole transition is gone. And maybe that's a problem, that I could possibly forget what I was talking about that quick. And maybe that's why you should have notes and shit like that. Who knows? Who cares? Anyways, since I completely forgot what the fuck I was talking about right there, we're going to move on. Buffalo, Atlanta, though. Oh, no. I know what I was talking about now. Anyways, when you have quarterbacks like that, everything can go, they can fool you for a long time, basically. Because I think Kirk Cousins is one of them, too. Where if the defense play great, the special teams play great, the running game play great, you win. And you know, Baker Mayfield, the way he fool y'all motherfuckers is the play action. So, if you don't really pay attention to Cleveland, when Cleveland was having success, Baker Mayfield, like the year where I think it was last year possibly, where he basically fooled all y'all motherfuckers, making y'all think he was a good quarterback. Kevin Stefanski would get a lot out of him from the play action. And it was the only reason it worked so well is because Nick Chubb was insane last year. He and Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. Nobody could stop them motherfuckers last year. And so because they ran the ball so great with that two-headed beast, really that beast and Kareem Hunt, but that's no disrespect to Kareem Hunt. Because they could do that, you can run a lot of play action and have it work. Because you're gonna have so many people committing to the run, dudes is gonna be wide open after dudes commit like that. And Baker Mayfield had success throwing at the wide open dudes. Now he was still erratic in some of his passes and most of his passes and shit like that last year. But for the most part, the team was good enough and the defense was good. The offense was good and the running game was unbelievably great. However, that was a COVID-infested year. That was a different year. That was one of them weird years, like a lockout year, basically, almost, it felt like. Like, that was just it was just a very weird year. And so, I never really gave that year too much credence. Because I was like, the Browns at one point in time was second in the division at one point in time. While the Ravens was like dealing with COVID, battling a lot of fucking things to get themselves right. And the Ravens end up finishing second in the division, and the Browns end up finishing in third and almost missing the playoffs. It was a very weird year. But late in the year, it showed me once teams started committing to Kareem Hunt, or maybe not Kareem Hunt, to Nick Chubb, and maybe Nick Chubb had missed some games late in the season. It showed me, okay, well, Baker is still average or below average, because now that teams either stopping the run or he don't have his running back there to run, he's average again. Can't do anything. And when, like I said, when you got a good team behind that type of quarterback who got limitations, who is average, you can win a lot of games. I don't want to disrespect Alex Smith. Alex Smith was an average quarterback. Like, he might got some good stats to say he was good and this and that. Alex Smith was a phenomenal game manager. A phenomenal game manager, bro. He didn't have the strongest arm. I guess I'm not going to say he was stupid or nothing like that. He was clearly a smart quarterback. But he didn't have some absurd IQ. Like, it wasn't like some out of this fucking world IQ. Like, Alex Smith was a perfect example of what I'm talking about. Alex Smith can win you a lot of fucking games. A lot of fucking games. But when Alex Smith go up against a motherfucker like a Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, Aaron Rodgers, a quarterback who can rise above everything else, then you got yourself a problem. You see what I'm saying? And sometimes the others can get it done. Like Seattle. Peyton Manning is one of those quarterbacks who can do great when everything else is going wrong. Seattle still beat him in the Super Bowl. So things like that can happen. But if you really being honest with yourself, you got to stand back and look at Seattle. That's a bunch of Hall of Famers on that defense. A lot of Hall of Famers and Pro Bowlers on that defense. Like, come on. And you got to understand, if you don't understand how great Richard Sherman, Earl Thomas, Brandon Browner, and Cam Chancellor were at the time, and if you can't step back now and re-look at that, how great those dudes truly was, then maybe football ain't really for you, because them motherfuckers was insane. Like, insane. So that's one of those rare occasions. It's just like people be like, oh, the Mavericks won a championship. People like, name a team that never had a superstar that won a championship where a dude never had a co-star. And people always be like, oh, well, Dirk Nowitzki won with the Dallas Mavericks and he didn't have a superstar beside him. And if you say that, then I think you greatly underrating Jason Kidd, because Jason Kidd is a superstar, even during that time. And the Mavericks had a good fucking team, if I can remember correctly, with all them shooters and whatnot on it. Not to mention, listen, Dallas wasn't supposed to win that, even though I took Dallas to win that. Now, I only took it because my cousin was going for Miami, and I said, you know what, Miami going to lose this fucking series. And deep down, I didn't really believe that was going to happen. And then, so when it happened, I was like, well, fuck it. I can live the fact knowing that I picked Miami to lose, god damn it. But that was the first iteration of Miami, the Heatles, whatever the fuck they call that shit, the Miami Big Three. When they first got to the finals and lost, people say that Mavericks team didn't have a superstar beside Dirk, but that was also the lockout year, I believe. So that was like a strange year also, you know what I'm saying? That was a strange year. But anyways, bro, all the fucking way back to Buffalo, Atlanta, bro, because we done got so far away from that game. Buffalo's going to win this game. Buffalo's going to win this game because I got to get off track again. Because like I say, a fucking quarterback like a Josh Allen, because I don't care what people say about Josh. A lot of people been hating on Josh Allen lately, even though it is some people in the media who, I don't know, man, because like I was on Twitter the other day, and there was a lot of people talking about like, man, that hate for Josh Allen quieted down real quick, opposed to how people talk about Lamar Jackson. And listen, I'm one of them people who at the point where if you still talk shit about Lamar Jackson and you still criticize Lamar Jackson and just calling him trash and saying he's not a good quarterback, you're just racist at this point. You can only be one of two things. You're either racist or you were so wrong about him that you're just going to hammer it home like you don't care, like you just do not care. You're just going to say it until it becomes true. And so either way, you're just a piece of shit at this point, because there's no way because somebody made a great point on Twitter. Lamar Jackson done beat great teams. Lamar Jackson's playoff struggles is what everybody try to dumb his career down to, because he keep moving. Y'all have to keep moving the goalpost on the dude who continues to shatter every little piece of every little critique that y'all make about the man. He step over every obstacle. That's a better way to put it. Every obstacle y'all throw at him, he step over. Every time y'all say he can't do something, shouldn't do, he haven't done something, he do it. So now the only thing that y'all have on him is the fact that he haven't won a Super Bowl, and y'all use his playoff and Super Bowl thing as his as the way to judge him, when that's not how y'all judge Baker Mayfield, the first pick in the draft. That's not how they judge Josh Allen and Joe Burrow and all these other quarterbacks and whatnot. And some people will be like, well, these dudes are young. Motherfucker, Lamar Jackson ain't been in the league for 5 years. He ain't started for 5 years. So what do you think he is? Not to mention he's younger than Joe Burrow. But that's neither here nor there. And a lot of people been making a big fuss about the Bart Scott, what he said on Get Up, I guess, about Joe Burrow having a red dot on him by the Ravens. Listen, the man wasn't talking about us hurting him or putting a bounty on him. No. He was just basically saying, you got our attention now. You have our full, undivided attention every time we play. We don't care if we suck that season. We don't give a fuck if y'all suck that season. Chances are y'all will probably suck rather than us, just based on how the history says we've been a winning franchise. You guys have not been. With all due respect to Andy Dalton and AJ Green and Marvin Lewis in that era of the Bengals franchise. But I'm just going based off of history. But yeah, he is right. It's a red dot squarely on Joe Burrow's big ass forehead. And it's such a shame that I have to turn on Joe Burrow. You know? Because I like Joey B. You know? But if we're being honest, Joe Burrow been Joe Burrow the last couple weeks. He finally went off on a third, fourth string defense of dudes who literally practice squad off the street players. Saw some bozo on Twitter with a picture of one of the Bengals receivers catching it over two dudes on our team who I dead ass did not know who they were, because those two dudes are not players who were on this team until like last week. So I'm like, and it's also funny to me because I didn't even know that so many teams in this division, other than the Steelers possibly, I didn't really know that it was this type of malice and this type of envy and jealousy for the Ravens in the division. Like, we win so much and we've been such a winning organization. I didn't know it was this type of hate and hate, so that when teams beating up on us, basically beating up on a ravaged franchise at the moment, people, act like they just won the Super Bowl or something. Motherfuckers comparing Joe Burrow to Tom Brady and shit after beating up on third and fourth string practice squad players, bro. Like, I saw what Joe Burrow did last year against a healthy Baltimore squad. I done seen what Joe Burrow done been doing against healthy defenses all year. So what is crazy? And then people will shit on Lamar's accomplishments and shit like that. It's crazy to me. Because as good as you think Joe Burrow playing this year, it's nowhere near as good as Lamar Jackson's MVP season. You want to know how I know? Because we're not even talking about Joe Burrow as an MVP. And if you are, it's because you're a Bengals fan. Because Joe Burrow's not having a year that Aaron Rodgers is having, or Tom Brady is having, or Jonathan Taylor for that matter. And I can go down a list of other dudes who having a better year right now than Joe Burrow. But that's neither here nor there. I don't want to hate on Joe Burrow. I just feel like, for one, I heard that he was mad about Wink saying that, we're not going to treat him like he already got a gold jacket or something like that. I don't know why he would be offended by that. Joe Burrow doesn't have a gold jacket by that. I mean, my boy. And I heard somebody say, well, he should take that as motivation. Cool, well, take it as motivation every time you play us, because you're not a Hall of Famer right now, bro. I don't understand how some people could take actual facts as like an issue. Like, you mad about a fact. Like, my boy, you're not a Hall of Famer by any metric right now. You've been in the league for 2 years. You started for a year and a half, my boy. You're not a Hall of Famer. If you had done what Patrick Mahomes did in his first 2 years, yeah, no doubt. Patrick Mahomes is Hall of Famer right now. By no metric are you a Hall of Famer yet. So I don't understand where oh yeah, I took that personal. I don't know how that feeling came in. I don't know how the Jordan feeling came into that type of comment. But, I guess wherever you can get your motivation from. And I hope Eli Apple happy. You know what I'm saying? He going to be on another team next year, so I hope he celebrate his Super Bowl now, because clearly beating the Ravens was beating the Ravens' 4th and 5th string practice squad players was their Super Bowl. It's great to know that. So they're going to lose yet another. And I saw somebody say, well, how many wins, a Bengal fan said, how many wins do Lamar Jackson got in the playoffs? My boy, more wins than the Bengals have in the playoffs in the last 2+ decades, bro. Are you dudes this stupid? It's unbelievable. You see, when you own, and this is why you see me talk about the Steelers so different than I talk about the Browns and the Bengals. Because you see, when the Steelers have beaten the Ravens over and over again, the Steelers, that's why I'm not going to disrespect Big Ben when he retire. I'm going to get on the podcast and I'm going to show Big Ben a lot of respect. I was thinking about that earlier today. I'm going to show Big Ben a lot of respect, because watching those Steelers teams and that against my Ravens back in those days, that really molded me into the NFL fan that I am today. You know what I'm saying? That really helped shape me into the NFL fan that I am today. Watching Big Ben and those Steelers teams. Jerome Bettis wasn't on those Steelers teams that I was watching, really. He was like towards the end of his career. I did see the year that he won the Super Bowl. But that's what I'm saying. His prime years, I don't think he was in the era of me. Like the era of football of Pittsburgh, Baltimore, I watched Ed Reed, Ray Lewis, Terrell Suggs, Eloy Nada, Double J. I'm talking about in the prime years. Troy Polamalu, Ryan Clark, James Harris, the 3Bs, Lev Bell, even the dudes before that, Mike Williams, Santonio Holmes. I don't even think it was Santonio Holmes, actually. Either way, Hines Ward, I came from that era watching them dudes who I hated fucking Hines Ward, bro. I hated Hines Ward. Hated him. But so that it's a different type of respect I have for the Steelers organization. Like that's a dope team. Like I always say to myself, if I wasn't a Ravens fan, it's very possible that I might have been a Steelers fan, because they damn near embody everything that the Ravens embody. So I fucking like it, and I've been hearing for years, it's the greatest rivalry in the NFL, but we respect the hell out of each other. We want to beat each other and whatnot, but we've grown to really respect each other team-wise. And that's facts. You don't never see the Steelers and the Ravens out there trying to fight each other and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Like the Steelers always out there fighting with the Browns. Dirty-ass Browns always trying to fight. And there's no shot to my boy Myles Garrett. You know what I'm saying? I'm excused him popping Mason Rudolph big head ass upside the head with the. I know some people gonna be mad. Either way, the Falcons got a chance to make the playoffs still. That's very wild to me. But they do still have a shot. Now, I do not think they're going to win in Buffalo this weekend. I do not think that's going to happen. That is a stretch. The Falcons are not a good team. Nobody is really talking about the fact that they took a tight end first in the draft, and they shouldn't have, but hey, whatever. I can see that this gonna be one of them situations where they gonna just wait until he pop off, and then they gonna be like, oh yeah, and they took him first in the draft. So yeah, I can already see how this type of situation gonna be. So unless he just never blow, and then they will finally say, they wasted a first round pick on him. You know what I'm saying? But it don't look like they're gonna say too much about him, them wasting a first round pick in the draft on him. But speaking of Baltimore, we play the fucking Rams this weekend. It's no shot the Rams lose this game in Baltimore, bro. Like, I was saying to somebody the other day, like Lamar Jackson, I saw the video of him limping in practice and whatnot, and if Lamar Jackson is hurt and not practicing, I continue to say he should not play. because his health is way more important to try to salvage this season. Way more important. For one, but he would have to be asked to do the rest of the season anyways because of all the injuries. Like, I don't think some people realize the Ravens' entire starting secondary is done for the year. Tavon Young, Anthony Averett, who wasn't even a starter. Tavon Young just came back from being injured the previous years. Marcus Peters, Marlon Humphreys, Chuck Clark, Deshaun Elliott. All those are the starters. And Jimmy Smith. And all them dudes is done for the year. I don't think some people realizing that. This ain't just next man up. The entire starting fucking secondary is injured. How do you game plan for that? I don't know. I can't even judge not Greg Roman. I can't even judge Wink Martindale right now because how can I judge a dude and he don't have his single starter in his secondary? He don't have his starting middle linebacker in LJ Fort. He been missing different linebackers all season. He been missing different defensive linemen all season. How can I completely judge this dude off the fact that he just missing so much? So much. He don't have I don't know how he even doing what he doing. The good things that he's done. I expect the Ravens to legit go out there and give up 40 every week. So when they don't, it's shocking to me. Because Wink Martindale is being asked to do. He basically being asked to make bread out of water. All I'm giving you is water. Make bread. All I'm giving you is Legos. Make bread, my boy. And maybe the comparison is very drastic or way too drastic, but I'm just saying, I really don't know how Wink Martindale is getting any air out of this motherfucker right now, because the entire secondary and the backups, bro, like Jimmy Smith and Anthony Averett are the backup / starters, bro. Tavon Young is the slot corner. All three of them motherfuckers is out, along with the starters. Come on, bro. That's nuts. That's nuts. So, it's very hard to judge Wink. But it's no excuse for the Rams not to win this game. It's just not. The Rams, listen, Stafford played like shit last week. Had the 3-piece pig dinner. He shouldn't look that bad this week. He shouldn't look that bad this week, man. I think Matt Staffy's gonna clean it up. He's gonna clean it up. It's gonna look a lot better, a lot more professional this week. Probably gonna throw for around 400 something fucking yards against this Baltimore Ravens defense, to be completely honest with you, bro. I would not be shocked. And I give it to Baltimore, bro. They got heart. I hate talking so down and negative on my team, but I'm just so into this. And that's something I could probably learn going into the new year, or just overall, period. To be more positive about Baltimore and my team, like John Harbaugh, bro. Because being negative, nothing's going to get better the more negative I get. I'm just soaking and getting, you know what I'm saying? So fuck it. Maybe I'm not picking us to win this game, obviously. But what I am hoping is that we don't go out there and get embarrassed. I'm tired of the defense giving up it's like I seen Louis Riddick talking about it. Baltimore's defense gives up so many big plays, bro. It's unreal. Like, it's unreal how many big plays they give up, bro. And I've never seen a Baltimore defense where so many dudes look lost on plays, bro. Where it's just like, oh. It's mind-boggling. It's absolutely mind-boggling. But I do want to be more positive about the Baltimore Ravens, man. It's just so hard right now with all the injuries and shit, man. You know, it's John Harbaugh's job to go in there with a positive outlook and whatnot. You know, you know what I'm saying? And I know people don't want to watch motherfuckers who on YouTube. At least I don't like watching negative motherfuckers who, you know, always talk. Like, I come to realize when I'm watching motherfuckers on YouTube, I done come to the realization that I will stop watching motherfuckers very quickly now if they get into a trend of just either being hella negative or hella depressing, bro. Like, excuse me, and I'm not talking about people who dealing with depression, because people who dealing with depression ain't the people who I'm on the YouTube. I'm talking about the people who are just always depressing. Like, they make you depressed because of how depressing they act and whatnot. It's like can be nothing wrong with them. They just so depressing and down, and life is just so like, my boy, my girl, you make so much money off of YouTube. So many people will want this job. Like, chill out, bro. And really, that's anybody, because anybody who enjoy their job think to themselves, boy, I make this off of doing this. You know what I'm saying? So, but excuse me. But like I said, I got to be more positive about it. It's just so hard when you got that many injuries going on. But the Rams have no excuse to lose this game. I don't give a fuck if it's a 1 o'clock game on the East Coast. It's absolutely no excuse to lose this game. Aaron Donald should be going. Jalen Ramsey should be back. This should be... Now, Lamar Jackson could start this game. Now, if Lamar Jackson play, maybe... You know, I can excuse them for losing, but I'm just looking at this defense. I don't know how any quarterback, which is one of the biggest reasons I'm not starting Lamar Jackson for the rest of the season. I'm not trying to say, even if we make the playoffs, yeah, I'll possibly start him again. But, bruh, it's just so hard for me to say start Lamar when I don't have a single starter in my secondary. I'm having to rely on a makeshift secondary, old dudes on the front lines and shit. You know, Justin Houston played big minutes for this team. A lot of snaps for this team, I should say. This ain't basketball. He played a lot of snaps for this team. We still relying on an old Calais Campbell who banged up at this point, bro. Just got back from injury. You know, we just fucking signed Tony Jefferson. Man ain't been a player in the league for like 2 years, bro. We just signed him off the free agent heat, bro, and started him the same week, I believe. That's how, you know, banged up the team is. So it's really no excuse for the Rams to lose this game, bro. None whatsoever. The Rams should get it done. And it's really not more to say about that. Listen, a lot of teams, and this ain't got nothing to do with the Rams, a lot of teams, particularly the Bengals, you know, they having fun with, you know, shitting on Baltimore right now while we in this state. And I hope they have, you know, enjoy this. Enjoy what you're doing right now, because it won't last. I just understand what Baltimore is when we're healthy, so enjoy it. Philly, Washington, it's going to be a big game because playoff implications. Right now, Philly got the last spot in the wild card, and I think Philly going to win this fucking game because, you see, I was watching Colin Cowherd this week, and he said something that's big facts. If you don't have a great coach, and you don't have a great quarterback, you got to at least have a fucking identity. You got to do something great. And I agree 1,000,000,000%. And the Eagles run the fucking ball. That's what the Eagles do great. And they have the identity. They know what they want to be. I'm not sold on Tyler Heinicke. I'm pretty sure people starting to realize he's not a starting quarterback. I don't think Tyler Heinicke is a starting quarterback. I also see people starting to say they question Ron Rivera. I've said I don't think Ron Rivera is as great as people say he is. Ron Rivera, one of them dudes you give a lot of credit to because you refuse to give Cam Newton his credit. So, you know, it is what it is. But I do believe Washington loses this game, especially after getting blitzed the way they did last week against Dallas. They could want to get their faces off the floor. They could want to get up off the mat and prove that they are still, you know, not a laughing stock or whatever. But I just think Philly know they fighting for something a little bit more right now. Philly could make this. Could be. They're not going to give Nick Sirianni Coach of the Year. I'll go ahead and get that out the way. They're not giving Nick Sirianni Coach of the Year. But I mean, you could legit make a case that Nick Sirianni is a Coach of the Year candidate. Nobody thought the Philadelphia Eagles would make the playoffs if they make the playoffs. And don't get it confused. The wild card is the playoffs. So if he makes the wild card, that is indeed the playoffs. And you did not think he was going to make that. If the fucking Eagles make the wild card, I mean, because I'm trying to think to myself, who could I give Coach of the Year to from these teams? Because you're going to give it to a team that made the playoffs. I'm not giving it to none of the heavy hitters, bro. Because most of the teams that's like the big teams was supposed to be good. You know, so I'm not going to give it to. And even though you can be a coach, like Aaron Rodgers, I saw Aaron Rodgers say on the Pat McAfee show about Matt LaFleur, like, you can have a great quarterback and still be a great head coach. I agree with that. Like, you don't have to be a bad head coach and have a good, just because you have a great quarterback doesn't mean that you can't have a great head coach too, or doesn't mean that the head coach can't be great. You know what I'm saying? Like, I do believe a lot of times we say, oh, that's a bad head coach, he just got a great team. Like, people do that shit to Steve Kerr, and that shit really pisses me off, because basketball is not like football. It's very easy to look at football and still not really truly understand what you're seeing, because football is complex. Some of these plays is complex. You could think somebody is of no use to your team when really they is one of the key pieces to why the offense is great. Like, if you watch Baltimore when Nick Boyle was healthy, you probably didn't truly realize how important he was to this team. Now he hurt these last couple years. They don't really run the same style of offense because they don't have a Nick Boyle. You know what I'm saying? So it's easy to be confused and not really see every little detail when you're watching football unless you watch it a couple times. I don't think that's the same case for basketball, because basketball is dominated by players. Like, obviously football is dominated by players too, but it's more of a team type effort. Basketball, one dude can legitimately be great enough to win you a game, a series. Giannis Antetokounmpo, LeBron James, Kevin Durant, Steph Curry. You know what I'm saying? I cannot understand for the life of me how you can look at that Warriors team with Mark Jackson, look at this same Warriors team with Steve Kerr, or this Warriors team with Steve Kerr, and think that Steve Kerr is a bad head coach. That's crazy to me. That's crazy to me. Because the offense, as great as the defense was for Mark Jackson, and Mark Jackson was a good head coach. I think that's really the problem. People refuse to just give both head coaches credit. They think you got to give one credit and shit on the other one, or shit on one and give the other one credit. They don't believe you can give both of them credit in this society. That's why you got so many. Is he better than him? It can't just be, man, both of these dudes are some fucking studs. It's always got to be, well, he better than him. It's a weird thing. That's why, I don't really get into the he better than him type shit unless I'm being funny on, like, Baker Mayfield being trash. But when it comes to basketball, bro, I just love Steph Curry and KD. I could care less about everybody else. I'm not going to, and there's other people that I like and shit like that. But when I'm talking about people, I'm not comparing them to basketball. I just like Steph Curry and I like KD. Everything else I could care less about. If you think somebody is better than Steph Curry and KD, that's fine. I don't give a fuck. I like Steph Curry and KD. So when you have that type of mindset, you don't really pay attention to the who's better and shit like that, because it's like I tell people all the time. I do believe Michael Jordan is the GOAT. But Kobe Bryant and Steph Curry are my GOATs. I could care less how you feel about those two individuals, because I know how they made me feel watching them. You see what I'm saying? But so in basketball, I just cannot understand for the life of me how you look at that Mark Jackson Warriors squad and how they played, and you look at how the Steve Kerr Warriors squad played, and you say to yourself, oh, Steve Kerr, bad coach, he just took a Mark Jackson team. They play nothing alike. The offense is way better. And I'm not even talking about just KD. The system, the offensive system is better than what Mark Jackson ran. He did not run a system with this type of movement. Go back and watch it. Trust me, I done watched almost every Steph fucking Curry game since he was drafted. Go back and watch them years where he played. Now, the one thing I will say is Draymond Green was an initiator of the ball with Mark Jackson in that rookie year. But go back and watch. They did not run like this. They did not move like this. Steve Kerr brought Iguodala off the bench when he came. For one, the bench was nowhere near used the way it was with Steve Kerr, and you did not get the type of production out of the bench that you got when you got Steve Kerr there. Listen, both dudes can be good coaches. Steve Kerr is a great coach, bro. Get him his credit. Back to football, though. Little basketball rant. But Philly's going to beat Washington. Philly is battling for something right now. And I think that Nick Sirianni is a head coach of the year candidate. I do not think he's going to win it. But I just think it's absurd if this man could get this team to the playoffs and people say, oh, yeah, but he's not in consideration. What? I just think it's real fucking hard not to give it to him, to be completely honest with you, if you make it. Because the Rams, I'm not giving it to Sean McVay. The Rams should fucking make it. They had Matt Stafford. I'm not giving it to Bruce Arians. They have Tom Brady. They were supposed to make it. Aaron Rodgers, I love Matt LaFleur. Yeah, I know I done talked about how much I love Matt LaFleur. I cannot give it to him because the Packers were projected to be a good team. Nobody fucking thought the Eagles were going to be right here. I'm sorry. To me, Nick Sirianni is the coach of the year if them motherfuckers make the playoffs. It is what it is. If Nick Sirianni made the playoffs, that is the coach of the fucking year. I don't care what nobody think about that. That's coach of the year to me if he made the playoffs. Vegas, Indy. I'm taking Indy. Vegas, like I done said, is a bad team. Almost all their games, they either lose them or they win them by barely. This is a bad team. That's what started happening to them motherfuckers last year. I'm starting to realize Vegas is not just a bad team. That is a bad organization from top to bottom. And now I'm starting to realize the only way you can fix this organization is to start fresh. Derek Carr, like I said, I don't think that you should get rid of him because I don't know where you would go after him. But maybe this is just one of them situations where it's just best to part ways and start fresh. But this team is in shambles at the moment, to be quite frank with you. And I know they still have a possibility of making the playoffs, but I'm just being realistic from what I see. And what I see is a team that's just barely hanging on, but they continue to fail the same way every year. And that's sad. Breaking my uncle's heart, like I said multiple times. But that's really sad when you see a team, and the Raiders not my team, but it's sad when you see your team or a team lose the same way every year. And it fall apart the same way every year. It's sad. And so I think if I was Derek Carr, I would truly and honestly, because you got to put yourself in the mind of a leader, okay? I done played sports. I done been a leader on a team. You do want to be there for your dudes. You don't never want to quit on them. You want to prove that, like, if anybody can weather this storm and get us to glory, it can be me. I can do it with these guys. We just need this. We just need that. But I don't want to go nowhere. But at one point in time, and that's the pride of in the ego of an athlete, of a star athlete especially. But at what point in time do you say to yourself, yeah, maybe it's time to start fresh and go elsewhere and try to capture that glory in a different scenery, in a different circumstance with different players and whatnot? That could be what it is right now for Derek Carr. Don't know. But I do know I believe Indy's going to win this game. Now, if Indy just run the fucking ball, they should win this game. The Raiders don't do good stopping the run. Indy can run the fucking ball as good as anybody in the league. They have a Pro Bowl running back, the best running back in the game, now that Derrick Henry is hurt. To be quite frank with you, he run the ball damn near like Derrick Henry to me in ways not just like him. He's a little bit more elusive to me than Derrick Henry, but both unbelievable backs. Just seeing Derrick Henry out now and paying more attention to Jonathan Taylor. Jonathan Taylor is a fucking stud. Like, some people might have thought, oh, well, he only got this record because Derrick Henry out. And maybe so. Maybe because they possibly would have been still running Derrick Henry to death, to where it was no shot that Jonathan Taylor could have even caught up to him, because Derrick Henry was going to be running far more times than he had a chance to run. But I'm glad that I'm not glad he got hurt. I'm just glad Jonathan Taylor was able to show how great of a running back he is. That's all I'm saying. And I do think that they're going to win this game because Carson Wentz is going to have to step up and be the reason they win one of these games, but I don't think it'll be this one. So Carson Wentz can still be Mr. Handoff in this game, and he can still make one or two throws here and there. Just don't lose them the game right now. I do think when they get to the playoffs, they're going to have to start. And listen, I told you, every game is a big game really at this point for the Colts because of how they started the season. But you even got the fucking Dolphins who started 1-7 and they done won 7 in a row, and they got a chance of making the playoffs. So, hey, it's gonna be crazy to see what team get them last spots in the AFC playoffs this year. It's been a funny fucking year, but I think Indy will get the job done, and Indy is at home. So, Indy, just run the fucking ball if all else fails, bro. But I'm going to take Indy beating Vegas in this game. Tampa Bay Jets. This is in New York. I don't know if Mike Evans back. I know Godwin out for the year. I know Lenny not back. I'm trying to think, is Gronk back? It felt like I didn't even see Gronk last. Either way, I'm taking the fucking Tampa Bay Bucks. Tom Brady done beat the Jets so many fucking times in his career. Man, you could put him out there. Well, you could throw me out there at wide receiver for him, and he'll figure a way out for me to shine against the fucking Jets. Like, and you gotta understand, I'm not disrespecting the Jets. I gotta, you've seen how I talked about the Jets here. The thing that's starting to worry me about when I watch the Jets, because see, you probably gonna learn from listening to me. I'm a little bit different. I tend to defend players way before I defend the coaches and shit like that. When I look at Zach Wilson, I just think to myself, man, a better coach, not like a head coach, better play calling could really help him right now. Now, if he refuses to accept the play calling and do the play calling that you want to do, then that's a completely different story. That's an uncoachable player who won't be coached. But I feel like if you coached him better, see, it's one thing to just coach somebody. How about we actually coach him better, though? Let's coach him good. Let's actually, because if you just coaching and it's not really processing or it's not really good coaching, then that's not coaching then. I'm talking about, I'm looking at the Jets sometimes, thinking to myself, a lot of times, thinking to myself, the offensive play calling could be better. Now, he do make some stupid ass decisions. I get that. Not good under pressure. I get that. And that's a big thing in the NFL. I get all that. But it's just sometimes, it's like, to me, it's like kind of like Trevor Lawrence. Nothing like it, to be completely honest with you, because Trevor Lawrence's situation was far worse. Trevor Lawrence's play caller, whoever the fuck it was, I think it was Darrell Bevell, was absolutely god awful. The one thing I will say about Rob Salah, they try to run the ball. They try to be a ground and pound team right now. The Jags didn't know what the fuck they were. It's like I said, they coached as if they were playing Madden or Axing Madden or some shit. They did not know what the fuck they were doing on most days. That's why I was so confused when they benched Robinson, the better running back on the team. When I said multiple times, if they would just go to a ground-heavy type of offense and let Trevor Lawrence just build off of that, then this would be a better team, because the running game is the best part of this team when they call good plays. They chose not to. They'd have drives where the running game looked dominant, and then they just start calling dumbass run plays or things that got away from it. I never understood it. They weren't developing Trevor Lawrence at all. He was out there meant to survive and develop for himself in a league with dudes who get paid also. So I actually don't think Zach Wilson has been in nearly as bad a situation, because Rob Salah done coached in the NFL. He done coached NFL players. He done had men swear by him. So that's a far different situation. Rob Salah could put a better offensive coordinator in place possibly. Now, it could come out and it could end up ultimately being... See, and that's another thing for the people who defended Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold, you can defend him all you want to. That's just not a good quarterback. I didn't need to see him in Carolina to know he was a bad quarterback. And to be completely honest with you, to help you out for a second, I think Sam Darnold bad. I think Matt Rule's a bad head coach also. But I didn't need to see him with Sam Darnold in a Cam Newton mid-season to know that. You see what I'm saying? They're not mutually exclusive. I just want you to know one. Excuse me. I want you to know one didn't lead to the other, if you will. Matt Rule's a bad head coach. Sam Darnold's a bad quarterback. I don't think Zach Wilson has shown me yet that he is just a bad quarterback. Now, if Zach Wilson continues to make bad decisions, it will become very apparent very quick that Zach Wilson is a bad quarterback. Because if you make bad decisions all the time, that means you're a bad decision maker, meaning you are a bad quarterback. Because a bad decision making quarterback is a bad quarterback, in my opinion. That's like Jameis. That's why you throw as many interceptions as Jameis and Baker. And to me, Baker don't even make as many bad decisions as it just is. He overthrow, underthrow, throw behind. He just inaccurate. Jameis made a lot of bad fucking decisions. So if it was ever something I could say to Baker, bro, it's not really that Baker make bad decisions as much as it is Baker is inaccurate. Jameis Winston made bad fucking decisions. Patrick Mahomes makes bad decisions at times, but he is so far and away more talented than Jameis Winston that it's not even a comparison. You know what I'm saying? So we know that. But Tampa Bay is going to win this game. Ultimately, we know that. Tampa Bay is just trying to get healthy for the playoffs, bro. That's ultimately what it is, and we know that. KC Cincinnati. In Cincinnati. Now, I'm glad that this game is on my radar. I'm glad that this game is happening. Kansas City, Cincinnati. Boy. They wanted to crown Joe Burrow God, basically. So I hope that he can do to a healthy KC defense what he just did to this raggedy ass 4th, 5th string street guys, practice squad players. I hope he ready to do that to these guys. You know, I hope because you know a 3rd string quarterback also won't be the dude playing. You know, the Chiefs are ready. They're healthy. Their defense is healthy and ready, as is the offense. I believe Travis Kelce will be back. And I'm picking KC to win it. I hope Cincinnati got this same energy. I pray they got that energy they had in Baltimore against a banged up Baltimore team they got against this Chiefs team. It's Cincinnati too. The stars are aligned. They should come out here and dominate, right? Can't wait. Taking KC. Miami, Tennessee. I'm going to take Miami. Because Tennessee should have lost to the 49ers, if not for Jimmy Garoppolo. I believe Miami going to end up winning 8 in a row, so shout out to Miami, but that's if they win this game. But I do think Miami going to end up taking this game. I feel very strongly at that. For one, I was looking at some people say they still not sold on Tua. I just wish people would let this motherfucker get through at least 2 seasons, bro. Can we really let this motherfucker get through some seasons before we really judge this dude? I mean, God damn. This is like one of the only dudes who people refuse to let, get a couple. Like, I don't understand most of the hate for some of these quarterbacks. But Tua specifically, it seemed like just don't nobody want to get this motherfucker. And nobody care about the fact that the motherfucker winning. People throwing in all these asterisks and shit like this. Not to mention, now, I'm not going to act like I done sat here and watch Miami. So maybe I need to go sit and watch Miami. Because maybe the way y'all feel about how I talk about Baker, even though I legitimately watch Baker, maybe that's how y'all feel about Tua. But I done seen Tua. I done watched Tua a couple games. So it's not like I'm going into this without have seen seeing Tua play at all. No, I didn't seen Tua play. I'm just saying I haven't watched all of his games this year. And the games, and that's because he was hurt in the beginning of the season. The games in which I have seen Tua play this year, no, he has not looked like a seasoned vet, because he's not a seasoned vet. But what I don't agree with is what they did to him last year, how you bench him, play him, bench him, play him, bench him, play him. That is not how you build confidence in a rookie quarterback. That's not how, for one, that's not how you build confidence in no fucking quarterback or player, period. But that's definitely not how you build confidence in your rookie quarterback who you drafted to be the franchise quarterback. And so this year is his first year in which he is not being benched every time he do something bad. You gotta let this motherfucker grow. You gotta let him build. He gotta have the confidence to know I can throw 2 picks and I know I'm not gonna get benched. I can throw 3 interceptions and I can fumble the ball or whatnot, and I'm not gonna get benched. So you got to give Tua some time. And the fact that he already done won like this many games and he affecting winning like this at this level so far, that's only good for Miami. I don't understand the Tua hate. I really don't. Because people love Mac Jones, and that's why I'm saying I understand it's a winning business. But Jesus Christ, bro. Mac Jones have so little to do with the Patriots winning during that winning streak. And Tua is playing more of a part in his team winning, but people refuse to give Tua any credit. It's absolutely crazy, bro. It's absolutely crazy. But either way, I'm taking Miami to win that game. Only by slightly, but I am taking Miami to win. Miami is a tough offense to watch. I'm not going to lie. It was tough to watch against. I'm just not big on left-handed throwers. That's my only thing with Tua, his motion, because I'm not a left-handed, but he get the job done. It do feel like he using too much strength when he throw it. I will say that. But I'm taking Miami to win that. Jacksonville, New England will get back on the horse. They will win that game. It's no need to. They probably gonna assassinate Jacksonville. The Giants, the G-men, taking on Chicago. You know, I almost didn't write this game down because I was like, do I really even care to talk about this game? Like, I can shoot through it like I did New England Jacksonville, but New England Jacksonville you shoot through because New England is a team coached by a man who they're gonna go and get the job done. That's the beauty in where Mac Jones doesn't. I don't need Mac Jones. I don't have to say to myself, oh, Mac Jones got to go out there and throw for 300. No. This is a great team as far as coached, so they're gonna go out there and get it done against Jacksonville. I'm very confident in that. This is a game, however, in which I don't know what could happen. I really don't. Chicago could come out there and play a good game. I know Mike Glennon is starting, so I'm picking Chicago because I expect Chicago to be able to deal with that. But, I mean, Chicago is a bad team, too. Chicago is a bad team, and they are poorly coached also. And, see, that's the thing about the Giants. I think the Giants, and that's what's weirder. I haven't talked a lot about the Giants this year, except for other than I don't think Daniel Jones is a good quarterback. I think they need to fire the head coach also. But my thing with the Giants is, how in the fuck can you not find a head coach that can get this thing right? For one, if you get a head coach who could get your fucking quarterback right, you got the pieces. You got Kenny Golladay. I saw a stat that he got paid $76 million in the offseason, has not scored a touchdown. The bigger crime is the fact that the Miami Dolphins paid Will Fuller, and that motherfucker got 4 catches for 126 yards, and they paid him. That's the bigger crime, in my opinion. However, the Giants have weapons. They have pieces on defense. A quarterback could completely fix this operation. Daniel Jones is clearly not the guy, in my opinion. But let's say Daniel Jones, you want to give him another year or whatever. Well, the coaching is not the answer either, because the coaching is not good on this team when you look at them on offense. I think one of the problems is they drafting a lot of quarterbacks who don't push the ball down the field in college. They run in these systems where you get so many yards off of just throwing dink and dunk passes like screens and shit like that. Get so many yards in college because you're playing against so many teams. That's why I don't like college football, bro, because it's not indicative of what happens in the NFL. Like, you can't just throw, like, yeah, screens do work in the NFL at times. But the way college teams use and abuse certain plays because they know it's going to work regardless on these sorry-ass defenses that they're going to play with dudes who never going to touch the NFL or dudes who just going to be perennial bench warmers in the NFL to fill roster spots and practice squad players. Bro, that's the only reason some of these quarterbacks succeed in college. And so when you bring some of those same quarterbacks into the NFL, and that's what the system you throw them in and you try to get them, and they never been have to move it up and down the field type of vertical. See, the quarterbacks that I prefer are vertical offensive quarterbacks. The quarterbacks who move the ball up and down the fucking field. Now, I would prefer that they do it at an accurate level because Jameis Winston is a vertical threat. He gets the ball up and down the field. The problem with Jameis is the motherfucker throw a lot of interceptions. But then you got these quarterbacks like a Mac Jones who dink and dunk a lot. You got the quarterbacks like a Daniel Jones. And David, everybody tell me, oh, Daniel Jones got a good arm, he got a good arm. But the play calling don't let him use his arm a lot. The play calling is one that they do a lot of the short and intermediate dink and dunks and shit. If he got a great arm, why are you calling the plays like that? I done seen how they use that. And for one, Daniel Jones is a turnover fucking machine, as is Baker. So that's what I'm saying. I'm starting to think that you getting these quarterbacks in college who are not playing in pro-style offenses like a Andrew Luck. Like, motherfuckers knew Andrew Luck was going to be ready when he came in. Andrew Luck came into the league being able to push the ball down the field, bro. He could make the throws. He could stand in the pocket and deliver down the field. Patrick Mahomes can move the ball up and down the field. Lamar Jackson, people, for all the flaws that people seem to have with him and all the problems people seem to have with him, the motherfucker moves the ball up and down the field on a normal year. Joe Burrow, to his credit, in that offense, they move the ball up and down the field. That's my thing with some of these quarterbacks that everybody hype up. You got to have gimmicks and all that shit to get Baker in that offense up and down the field unless Kareem Hunt dominate. You need gimmicks and shit to get the Giants up and down the field, which you shouldn't have to have with that type of talent that they have at certain positions, bro. Like, they got y'all over there thinking Evan Ingram is trash now to some people. That is a great tight end. People, for some reason, don't respect Golladay now. Sterling Shepard done became a shell of himself in that system now. I know the running back always hurt, but Saquon is a way better player if he was. I'm just telling you. It's the quarterback. That's all I'm saying. You go get you a quarterback that is look at Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert's ability to get vertical, to throw up and down the field. I'm not saying that that's all he got to do, but when you need to be able to go up and down the field, they can. They can. I'm just saying. But I'm taking Chicago to win that game. For the biggest reason, they got Mike Glennon starting for the Giants. No, I don't even think they got Glennon starting. They got other dudes starting now for them, I believe. Regardless, I'm taking Chicago. Chicago should be able to get this one. If Chicago lose this, I mean, that should almost guarantee you that Matt Nagy is probably out of there. Denver Chargers. Chargers lost to the fucking Texans last week, and I ain't gonna lie to you, I was very close to picking Denver to win this game. But then I thought to myself, okay, the Chargers have to buckle down, settle down, and realize, like, yo, we cannot lose this game. We cannot lose this game. I'm picking the Chargers to win this game because I'm banking on these motherfuckers realizing, okay, enough is enough. We gotta calm down. We gotta settle down. We are better than this. We just gave up 40 to the fucking Texans. We are better than this. Or maybe we're not better than this. So maybe we go out there and lose to Denver at home. I mean, maybe that's what happened. But I'm going to think the other thing. I'm going to think that they are better than this, and they're not going to let that happen. Now, Denver's defense. I like Denver's defense. I like Patrick Surtain. I like Denver's defense. Denver's defense is not as bad as, and I really didn't give them a lot of credit during the season. I just think Denver's offense is pretty bad. I also think they need to fire. I know I'm talking about firing a lot of head coaches right now, but I do think they need to fire their head coach. Not because I think he a bad head coach, and I know I done talked shit about him earlier in the podcast, early in the year. That's just because he deserved it. But the reason I think you need to fire him is because, listen, I know people don't believe that offensive-minded people should all be the ones getting the head jobs and shit like that. And I agree. It is some great defensive-minded head coaches out there. However, Sean McVay is an offensive-minded head coach. And I just want to point out, I told y'all that Sean McVay's success came when he was good at running the ball. And everything else built off of it. You notice how much they run the ball over the last couple of weeks. But Sean McVay is a great offensive-minded head coach, right? He done put great defensive people in place. That's why the defense is always good. Yeah, they got great defensive players, but that's because they got people in place who draft good defensive players, who can coach up those great defensive players. You see what I'm saying? So you can still get an offensive-minded head coach who can be good enough to put the defensive people in place and coaches in place to succeed. I just think you do your team a great service nowadays when the head coach is offensive-minded. I'm just saying. I know some bad offensive-minded head coaches out there, and it's even some archaic offensive-minded head coaches out there. But when you can get, like some of the better head coaches in the NFL right now is offensive-minded head coaches. Like, it just is what it is. And so I just think that's what would be the point of Chicago going out and getting a defensive-minded head coach when you just drafted Justin Herbert? What would be the point of Jacksonville going out and getting a defensive-minded head coach when you just drafted Justin Herbert? Now, I get it if you drafting an older head coach who is one of those, like a Jim Caldwell, even though Jim Caldwell is a pretty good defensive coordinator also. So really that don't really count either, because I believe Jim Caldwell was known as a offensive coordinator at one point in time before he became a head coach. So that's a little bit different also. But I understand drafting a older head coach who done been in the league for a while, who not an offensive minded head coach. But if you're drafting one of these younger coaches, NFL coaches, then I would prefer an offensive minded head coach. That's all I'm saying. But I think the Chargers are going to win this game. Brandon Staley, come on, bro. Come on. We got to take more calculated opportunities, and we got to succeed on them. I'm not going to be one of them people who bitch about him going for it on fourth down and shit like that. Listen, sometimes the game demanded. I don't think people realize the problem is not that we went for it. The problem is that we didn't convert when we went for it. See, people confusing us going for it, because sometimes, yeah, we should go for it right here. But if we had better play calling and shit like that, that's the problem, is that we didn't convert, not that we went for it, or not that a team went for it. And the people confusing and plus it's just when you lose, people bitch about everything, bro. It just is what it is. Houston, San Fran got to get back on this train, right? Now, I think I saw a report today, as a matter of fact, where Jimmy Garoppolo might fucking play. So it's not even completely ruled that Jimmy Garoppolo won't be playing in this game. So that hasn't been ruled out. But I believe I'm going to take San Fran regardless. But Jimmy might not be. And y'all know I'm going to still ride with Jimmy G for right now. But if Trey Lance play, I think Trey Lance will be good enough. Like, I haven't seen Trey Lance. I never watched him in college. He didn't even play last year, I believe. I think he played like one game last year because of COVID. But I mean, I'm interested to see. And listen, I guess you can't count out Houston after they put that ass beating on the Chargers last week. But that's kind of different. That's a rookie head coach with the Chargers and all that type of thing. And I understand they got Justin Herbert, but that's still, this is Kyle Shanahan. This ain't no fucking Brandon Staley. I'm just tell you that right now. So I'm going to take San Fran to win that one. Arizona, Dallas. Now, I done talked about this one on my other one, I believe. Either way, I'm going to take Dallas to win it. But Arizona could win this game. I'm interested to see. Somebody here was saying something. I saw people talk about this on those sports shows today, but I personally was talking about this with somebody today. How good is Kyler Murray without DeAndre Hopkins? About to be very interested to see. A.J. Green is not the A.J. Green of old. He's not the A.J. Green that terrorized me my entire life while he was with the Bengals. But how good? Kyler Murray done always really had great receivers and great things around him. So I am very interested to see how Kyler Murray operate now that he does not have a DeAndre Hopkins right now. Like, the play calling need to be better, need to be sharper. The running game got to be. And I said that last week. I don't really think this team run the ball good. Like, when you take away the fact that take away Kyler's yards and the shit that he be doing, I don't think this is a great running team. But, some people would disagree with that. But I don't think this is a great running team. I like James Conner. I even think James Conner made the Pro Bowl, and he done had a great year. I don't think he made the Pro Bowl, though, just based off of him being a great runner, as much as it is a bounce back year and all the fucking touchdowns. Because I think he like top 5 in the league right now at total touchdown score. So great story there and whatnot. But I just think that the inbound, I don't like the play calling on the Cardinals. I done said that for a long time. I'm also not a big fan of Cliff Kingsbury. Like, he might look cool, GQ'd out and all that type of shit, blah, 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 that all the superlatives people give him that have absolutely fucking nothing to do with football. Listen, I'm all for my coach having swag and shit like that and looking cool when he winning. And I guess Cliff done won this year. But overall, Cliff's not been a winning head coach. I believe Cliff is a on the fringe head coach. Like, I listen to a lot of Colin Cowherd. I'm starting to realize I really do like Colin Cowherd. I just can decipher between when he talk making sense and shit like that. And sometimes he say shit that just be like, Colin, what the fuck? But for the most part, Colin is he probably is who I listen to the most at this point. He liked Cliff. And this is just one of them times I got to disagree with him because I don't see what he's seeing Cliff. I really don't. I'm not another sports analyst who I like, Mina Kimes. I really embody her opinions on Cliff. If you go watch her talk about Cliff Kingsbury, I really feel a lot of ways that she feel on Cliff Kingsbury. Like, I just don't feel like he is a good head coach right now. Decision making and all that type of shit, game management, just everything is questionable when it comes to Cliff right now for me. So, I don't think they're going to win this game on the road for one, even though they are a better road team than they are a home team this year, I believe. But this is a game in which Dallas's defense will be tested because this is not – I do believe Kyler will have them plays where they throw it up, and Dallas is one of them teams where when you make a mistake, Dallas usually make you pay. This is a game where I believe that if Dallas's defense is doing what they've been doing the last couple weeks, Kyler Murray could really walk away with 4 to 5 interceptions in this game. Because Kyler Murray and them boys they have plays where you think this could be an interception and things like that, and the bats and like the bobbled passes and some of those jump balls and shit like that. You throw a jump ball up with Trayvon Diggs. Now, I know Trayvon Diggs give up a lot of yards and shit like that. I get that. People got to find a way to hate on motherfuckers. But I'm just really banking on Dallas's defense. Like, I'm not even thinking about Dallas's offense, even though I do think Dallas's offense, if they going, they will get it done against this Cardinals team. But the Cardinals offense, to me, I believe will struggle against this Dallas defense. This defense is good, and everybody just talk about Diggs, but everybody balling. You got Brown on the other side balling. You got DeMarcus Lawrence is balling. Fuck, Randy Gregory balling. It ain't just Micah Parsons. So, hey, I'm going to take Dallas in this one. In Dallas to win it. Carolina, New Orleans. I guess I'm going to take New Orleans in this one. I cannot believe that game made it this far down in the sheet. I got to start rearranging some of these games. Because, why towards the end of the podcast would Carolina, New Orleans be something that we haven't already glossed over by now? We definitely gonna find a way to figure that out, because I can't have Baltimore Rams and fucking Indy Vegas, Philly Washington playoff potentials at the top, and then fucking giant Chicago, fucking Carolina, New Orleans, and Detroit, Seattle as the last ones. That's definitely got to change. I'm taking New Orleans to beat Carolina, and I'm taking Seattle to beat Detroit. And we'll be back on another episode of Kicking It With Saint to talk about the Vikings in Green Bay and the Browns and the Steelers. I appreciate y'all for joining me on this episode, man. I appreciate y'all for kicking it with me for the hour or so. I hope y'all have a dope new year, man. I hope y'all have a dope new year. Hope everything... Yeah, I just hope you motherfuckers ball out, man. I really do. I just want everybody to get rich, to be honest with you. I hope you get rich in the upcoming year. I really do. That's my hope and wish for everybody. Because I believe if everybody were rich, the world would be a much better place. I really do. I believe people say money is the root of all evil. Well, I actually think money is the root of all problems. Because I tell people all the time, it's not a problem that I didn't have, that I have right now, that money couldn't fix. It just is what it is. And my homeboy told me the other day, the only time he is depressed is when he not making money. He came to that conclusion. That's why he worked himself to death. I wish we were all rich. And I hope that you have an unbelievable new year. I hope you continue to fuck with me in the upcoming new year. I hope we grow as a channel and as a podcast in the new year. I hope we get sponsored by Sundrop, the true nectar of the gods. I hope I can interview at least one athlete next year. That'll be the biggest goal. I don't even care what athlete, just any fucking professional athlete. Interviewing them would be absolutely unbelievable. And I hope, again, we all get rich next year. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all for y'all support and joining me all the time, man. It means the absolute world to me. Saint out.
You ready to make history? Come on now. Yeah. You know, there's these two words. And when I say them, people get goosebumps because they know what happens next. So without further ado, free smoke. Look, scared cause I'm drowning in silence.